Muslim men, listen up. It's time to lock in this summer. This is a time where most people are going to be relaxing, they're going to be chilling, they're going to be in their, they're just going to be like, oh, all these different things are going to go on boats, they're going to be going to all these different events, they're going to be going on road trips, and they're going to go travel. This is a time for Muslim men. I'm not just saying Muslim men, just a time for not even just men, just people in general. This is the best time to lock in. People always say the winter arc, the winter arc, the winter arc. The winter arc is a time where you're working, you're in school, you have exams. How are you gonna fully lock in during that time? Because you don't have the time to lock in. But in the summer, most people have time to lock in. But we're doing the opposite. You should lock in now. Treat this time like it's your raining seasons, and then you get your crops, and then during the winter you can survive. Most people do the opposite, and I don't understand why. For me, when it comes to summer, when people ask me, oh, are you gonna do this? I'm like, no, not really. Why? Because it's summer. This is a time where it's nice weather in a lot of different places. So this is where people start to feel relaxed, they feel chill. And there's nothing wrong with chilling, there's nothing wrong with relaxing. I'll be the first to say, you can relax, you can chill. We all need breaks, we all need to take time. But if you take that whole summer, 2.5 months, right? Because June is pretty much when it starts. So if you take 2.5 months to just relax and chill, not do anything productive towards your goals, and this is for those who actually want to achieve their goals. If you don't want to achieve your goals, if it's not something that's important to you, that's all good. It's your life. I'm not like, this isn't the channel for you. But if you're someone that wants to achieve your goals, summertime's a perfect time. And this is what every single year for me, the way I approach it, when it's summer, I fully just lock in the summer. I focus on my goals, focus on what I got to focus on. And then when it's September, I take September to December as like it's kind of like, okay, now we're in the season has started. Like for me, the season starts in September, right? And most people, it starts in September, but most people don't prepare for the season. Most people, they just kind of go into it and then they ease into it. And then they say winter arc, winter arc, winter arc. I'm like, well, you should be a summer arc, right? So this is something, of course, I'm talking to Muslim men, but this is just men in general. This is men in general. So I have some talking notes here and I'm going to kind of riff through those and I'm going to tell you why you need to lock in this summer. This is the time to lock in, Muslim men. Okay. So let's see. So summer is a trap for comfort and temptation. Nice weather, social distractions, and lustful environments make it easy to drift. There's going to be lust, especially if you're a single man. There's going to be lust everywhere. People are going to be dressed in a certain type of way. It's going to be it's going to be very tough for just men in general, right? Men, men struggle with lust. It's a reality. It's a real thing, all right? It's not something that, it's just human nature, right? So it's going to be a lot of that. There's going to be a lot of distractions. Everyone's going to have an event every single weekend. There's going to be something going on, right? Even me, I go to certain events, right? Sometimes I go to some barbecues, right? Sometimes there's some different events that go on, right? Sometimes friends, this and that. So it's a normal thing. It will happen. And of course, nice weather. When the weather is nicer, you just feel more relaxed. When it's winter, when it's cold weather, you're kind of like going fast. Everyone's going fast. Everyone's at home. The days are shorter, right? So it's like naturally you're like, okay, well, I don't really want to do anything. But when it's the summer, you're like, okay, well, let's do stuff. Let's relax, let's chill. And I'm someone who I love going to the other part of the city and getting work done during the summer, especially. So that's something I like to do. I like to go to coffee shops and stuff like that. So summer is a different vibe, right? But here's the truth. You haven't really earned the break if you're not, if you're not happy with where you're at. And of course, your rizq, Allah is the one who controls your rizq, right? And that's a huge, huge thing, right? We also have to tie our camel. And a lot of times we forget that. We need to tie our camel. We need to take some action. A lot of people aren't taking action towards where they want to get to, right? If you're not in shape, if you're not financially where you want to be, if you're not married, right? You relax, but at the same time too, you take some steps, right? Take some steps. Don't fully say, like something I hear so often, and I get it, I understand it, but it's like, I have exams, I have this, I'm super busy. After that, I'll start exercising. What happens? They don't start exercising. They don't even go into it. It doesn't cross their mind. Why? Because you're saying later, 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 later. If you keep saying later, 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 it's never gonna happen, right? I know a lot of people that start something and they don't stick with it. Why? And I've struggled with this too. Like we all struggle with this. This is just West. This is Shaitan. Shaitan doesn't want us to succeed. Shaitan doesn't want us to succeed. So it's a huge thing, right? So this is a time where it's like if you, like I said, a lot of people will have a lot more time, right? If you're in school, if you're a student, if it's summertime, you probably have a lot more time, right? This is why a lot of people they'll get a part-time job. They'll say, oh, I'm stacking my money, it's like my bread, right? I want to get more money, or they'll do stuff, they'll do this. This is the time where you can make real moves towards what matters, because what happens is when the next season comes, you'll be like, oh, I'm fully in, right? When I started doing this coaching thing, or when I started doing all of this, what happened to me was, and my light just turned off, but let me turn my light back on real quick. I might edit it out, I might not edit it, but yeah, my light just turned off here. But what I did was I started just making videos, I started doing blogs, I started doing stuff. I didn't go like fully all out, but I took action. I took moves into it. Alhamdulillah, it's starting to get there. It's starting to get more clear. And it's at a point where I'm getting there, right? I'm figuring it out, alhamdulillah. But it wouldn't have happened if I started in September. If I started in September, October, if I did the winter arc, it wouldn't have happened, right? So that's a huge part for me there. Now, another thing I want to say is the off season. The off season is where champions are made. Okay, Kobe, Jordan, the greats, right, of the sport, of course, in their sport. I'm not saying like, yeah, obviously their sport, right? They trained when no one was watching. This is something that's like, when we always talk about hidden sins, we talk about this and that. All right. What are you doing when only Allah is there? Allah is watching, right? Are you making dhikr? Are you reading the Quran? Are you learning? Are you working towards your business? Are you spending time with your family? What is the stuff that you're doing behind the scenes? Because everyone has a persona. Everyone has an online persona. You go to an event, you see someone, oh, how you doing? And then they'll say, oh, this is a really good person. But who is really that person? You don't know, because you don't know them behind the scenes, right? So that's a huge one. So treat your summer like your off season. The best players are the ones who train during the off season. They're the ones who they'll relax. Yes, they'll have time to relax and rest, and because you need rest. That's a human thing. We need to rest. But they will also take the time to maybe shoot, right? Maybe shoot a little bit, right? They'll still be active in what they're doing. They'll slowly do things. Like they'll still be consistent with it. And that's a huge thing. In the summer, a lot of people they kind of shut down. They're like, oh, it's done. Okay. It's because of school, right? The school mentality. It was like you go to school throughout the whole year, and then June comes, and then July and August is like your time to relax and chill. You're going to summer camp, you're doing this, you're doing that, and then September comes, like, ugh. But it's supposed to be the opposite. It's supposed to be like you're going through the motions during the year, right? You still lock in, of course, but during the off season, the off time is when you're focused. Okay, you're looking, okay, what went right? What didn't go right, right? This is why, like, for example, like Ramadan, right? Ramadan's a month where we lock in because we can kind of come back and kind of take that time to focus on ourselves. There's different seasons in our life, right? And we need to start treating these different seasons in a certain type of way, right? So winter, for me, I really like to lock in December, because I know in December, this is when most people are relaxed, right? Obviously, like a lot of people, they're not working, this and that. A lot of people are relaxed. And alhamdulillah, I work on my own schedule. So, and I work out like on my own. So I think I have a luxury of, but even when I was working my jobs, so when I worked at places, I would get up, early in the morning after Fajr. I'd start either do my work or I'd go to the gym, or after my work, I'd go to the gym or do my personal work. So this is something that like I highly encourage most people to do. It's super important, right? Now, the next one is don't confuse escapism with rest. Okay, road trips, over socializing, endless scrolling. That's not real rest. That's distraction. Now, I can talk about this another day. I'm not gonna go too deep into this, but basically, like a lot of times when people say they want to rest, they want to relax, they're not really relaxing, not really resting, because you're still stimulating your mind. You're still doing things, especially if you're on social media, you're going to be stimulating your mind. If you're scrolling, you're stimulating your mind, right? So you're not really resting and relaxing. I'll talk about this in another video. I don't want to talk too deep into this. This is more of like just telling you, like, just take this summer and put in 1 hour a day, okay? Put 1 hour a day, whether it's for your health. Like, I would say take one thing, right? You don't have to do everything and try to be in shape, make more money, this and that. Take one thing, right? When it was 2020, when I came back from COVID, or when I came back from Senegal, I was super sick, right? I got malaria. I was super. I pretty much rock bottom when it came to my health. So when I came back, I told myself the only thing I want to focus on right now is my health. I really want to focus on getting back in shape. I had this vision of how I wanted to look. And alhamdulillah, I think I got there with my body and even my face and stuff like that. If you look at like my face back in 2020 compared to now, it's changed a lot. But that time in my head, I was like, I gotta focus. So during the summer, I literally went to the gym like all the time, like every single, almost not, I don't say every day, but I went to the gym a lot. I went for runs. I really took care of my health. I started focusing on my diet, right? And even to the point where like I got a mass gainer, and then I actually started gaining weight, but like it wasn't the right way. So that's something I was learning experience as well. So I took that summer, and I even took like the next couple of summers. I think it was like 3 summers to just focus on that, right? And I saw the exchanges, I saw it, but it was just locking in during the summer that really changed it. So find one thing that you can do, whether it's your finances. For me, it's probably going to be the business that I'm doing. So that's going to be what I'm going to lock in on. Also, I have another thing that I'm also prioritizing, but that's all that, but that is contingent on the business as well, right? The business working out. So that's gonna be my thing. But focus on one thing you want to do. Maybe you want to get married. Maybe you want to build a business. Maybe you want to move somewhere. Focus on what that thing is and tell yourself, okay, by September, I want to do this. And then make that your focus and work. You don't, I don't, because you don't have to do every day, but if you say Monday to Friday, for example, right? 1 hour a day. 1 hour a day will change your life. If you can do stuff 1 hour a day, you will get a lot more done and you'll find yourself in a different situation. You'll be like, if you're trying to quit your job and you spend 1 hour a day towards your passion or whatever you're trying to build, maybe in the next 2 months, who knows, right? Maybe 6 months, Allah knows best. You may be in a situation, and a lot of times this will happen where you're going to contemplate, oh, well, I'm starting to make some money here. All right. And it's starting to match my actual like full-time job. Maybe I should just quit my full-time job or part-time job, whatever it is, and focus on this so I can make more money off this and I can scale it, right? So this is a real thing, and I think this is something that Muslim men we need to be aware of. It's time to lock in this summer. Lock in this summer. Okay? Anyways, that's it. That's all I want to talk about. Inshallah, I hope this provided some value for you. If you'd like extra coaching, or if you like to lock in, especially for your fitness, or you want to increase your focus, check out the link down below. You can check it out. We can have a conversation and see if it makes sense to work together. Otherwise, please lock in. Like, send us to one of your brothers, send us to one of your friends. It's a time for us to lock in, right? I'm saying Muslim men, but it's just men in general. Not just men. I'm just everyone. We like in general, right? If